Welcome to the 8th edition of the European Film Festival, taking place from the 14th till the 24th of October. Make sure you visit the website to see the latest catalogue of films. Visit eurofilmfest.co.za. Thank you to the delegation of the European Union to South Africa and 17 European embassies and cultural agencies for bringing the best of European films to South African screens. My name is Menzi Mhlongo, and I'm really excited to host the director of comedy, drama, risk, and side effects, Micheal Kreihsl. Micheal, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting the film to South Africa. I'm very curious.
Wish we could have you live in South Africa, but yeah, COVID happened and we're doing everything virtually. But again, thank you so much for coming through to this Q&A.
Yeah.
Right now, before we dive into this fantastic film, Micheal, could you just please introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Micheal Kreihsl. I'm based in Vienna, Austria, and I work for television, did a lot of movies here in Austria who were always released in Germany and Switzerland. And my last film was through a streaming platform, Amazon, so which is a good idea because everybody can now see the film. We know the COVID year has blocked us with the cinemas, so at least it was a possibility to go into the streaming services, which I have two sides of a coin, you know. I desperately were longing for a dark room where people sit in and watch a film. You cannot compare it with a iPad movie, whatever, or on a cell phone. So it's an own experience. It's like being in a live concert. So, and I'm happy that we are going back to a normal situation, more or less.
For sure, nothing can beat the big screen, and we're all crossing fingers to be back at the cinemas.
Right.
Now, let's talk about the film. That's what we all hear. Risks and Side Effects, a lively comedy about marriage, hypochondria, friends, architects, secrets, taking risks, and the question, what is true love? Micheal, how would you introduce the film to a complete stranger?
Well, it's a kind of very existential beginning because there is the woman comes home and says, I need a kidney. I need some donator for a kidney. And when this comes out of the sudden, so the husband is not understanding her in the first terms. And then she tried to explain what the matter is, and she desperately has to find a donator for a kidney because it's existential. And he is a kind of character who is a well-known architect. He is in the middle of his work in business, and he tries to solve everything but with the agency or he's trying to solve everything with somebody else. And then when his wife says, well, usually the donators come out from the family or from the direct family, which is the husband, he is actually not understanding, or maybe he is understanding, but he pretends not to understand because he's kind of sneaking out of this responsibility. So that's how the film starts. And as you said, in the topic actually is a kind of test of real love. So everybody can, when he's walking out of the film, he can ask him or herself the question, which is actually which the film starts. So it's a very interesting question. Whether you do it, you say yes in a second, or you postpone it and next day and this, and then it becomes a little odd for a relationship, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I was chuckling all the time, and I had to put myself in Arnold's boots there for a second and think, what would happen if my wife wanted my kidney? But also, I'm thinking about the fun of the film, but also the reality, and so I'm thinking, how did you balance humor and the reality of true life, and how would one react into such a situation?
I think any humor is based on existential problems. I think humor always is a kind of escape of the real situation you are in your life. And the Russian writer Chekhov, which I adore very much, around the turning of the century, 1900, and he is a master of having to cross this thin line, or to work on this borderline between comic and existential. And I deeply believe that there is only a good joke is always has as a very tough background, or has and it's kind of escape for people to make jokes in order not to face the problems of their lives which they are in. And you can see other films like Woody Allen films or whatever, it's comic, or Coen Brothers. It's always a real bad background which with the film is based, and the problems, and the I say always, it's in German, it's Not, it's the existential problem you have, and then you try to escape these problems. And with film, it's good because the audience can watch people like moving on a stage wildly in order to get out of these problems, and they can sometimes laugh about that because they are in safe space in the audience. And that's. But I really believe, I already said that it's always has a certain the ground humor is based on is always serious.
Sure. And most certainly, using comedy as an escape. And COVID is one of those escapes that we need right now. And there's a Zulu saying that says there's laughter even in death. Did any part of you, or was your approach to say laughter is, after all, the best medicine going forward?
Yes, you can narrow it down on this sentence. Yes, I think so. And you can face life. If you face life with a certain humor, with a certain attitude, you get more out of it. It's like yeah. And if you're mourning and you're going back into deep problems more and more, I like always to have a view on a certain horizon, which I can follow, a certain aim. And the same is humor is an attitude, or for some people it's a character that they can face things which you normally are not able to face. And sometimes you laugh because there is nothing to laugh,
Yeah, I was definitely laughing. So thank you for that, Micheal, and brilliant acting by the cast. And I'm also just commend you from taking this screenplay. And I do understand this is a work by Stefan Vogel, which was a play. And you, together with him, worked very hard to put this into film. So maybe if I can just ask, how much of the film is drawn from the play, and how different is going from play to film?
Well, it's always a transformation because the theater has a certain laws, and film has certain laws. And in the theater, there are only the two couples. There are no more people involved. So the daughter is I wrote in the script. It's a new character. You see the doctor. It's a new character. Even the short part of the boyfriend from the daughter, and all these people, I more or less I would say I try to enrich the characters into less stereotype people. So what I like is, and we also improvised on a certain level. It's like in jazz music or whatever, you have a certain main theme, and then if you can do it, then you can improvise on that. So like, for instance, the scene in the car after this restaurant, improvised. I said, I gave them a certain line or a certain sentences or even half sentences. And I like also these half sentences when you watch or when you listen to a couple next to you in the coffee house or somewhere, and you just grab a short sentence, and this half sentence is telling so much about this relationship. And so we tried this in the car. It's more or less a improvisation on a given theme. I tried. So we moved along the main theme, but we are getting far away from the theater play. Although that you in the theater, you cannot have silent moments too long. And a glance or somebody, you look at somebody in the theater, it's not the way in the theater you can prolong it, because in the theater it's speech, it's about sound, it's about text. And in the theater, in the movies, you can have a glance, and this glance shows more than you would tell with words. And this is the interesting point. So I also like the silent moments, and also these cleaning woman. This is a scene which I like very much, because the only person who is hugging her is the cleaning woman. So and the cleaning woman, she was praying for her, and so the character, which is played by Inga Friedrich, is almost near to tears, because I like these exchange of emotions. And I would say that the film is a little more existential, and it's a more towards the human touch of these people, in order to struggle to get out of their problems. And in the theater, it's more dialogue driven, and it's more fast clip-clop dialogues. And so I think it's interesting in the movie theater, because I think I especially, I always like to watch people on the screen in order to improve or to get a human touch. Maybe they start as stereotypes, and then you get them, you come closer to them and maybe you change your mind, and you have prejudices in the beginning, and then while the film is going on, you change your point of view. And this is interesting, and I think this is also the reason why people go to the movie theater, whatever film it is. But it's like you want to come closer to these characters, and that was my try. And that's also why I picked these cast and not somebody else, because I like to cast faces. I like to cast personalities, and this is the point.
Must commend your direction and the acting of the cast. I think when you mentioned those moments of silence, I think it was really well captured. I can't not forget the moment when Arnold was asked for his kidney. I mean, his expression, it was very funny.
Yeah.
So I must say, you having so many credits as an actor yourself, how did your acting experience influence the making of this film as well?
It's an interesting question, because I like always to be on the other side of the camera, like in front of the camera. And I eventually, my colleagues are inviting me for one or 2 days role. And I think it's very important that you walk in the shoes of the actors and the actresses, because then you know their problems, all this trouble and all the traumata they have to release in order to play a part. and they have to be precise, they have to be technical, perfect. And I adore anybody who is in front of the camera and is acting as a human being. I think this is a very, very tough job.
Indeed it is. That's why I'm not an actor. But you have an amazing quartet of actors, Arnold, Catherine, Diana, and Gortz. And I really fell in love with Gortz there. There's and there's one person in the film who is not defined by his work. I don't want to give it away. And he's the one who's acting with humanity. What does risks and side effects also say about the extent of work and profession and how it overwhelms the human level?
Well, I think the world would not be as it is in a positive sense. I mean, if people are not willing to help just out of a second without thinking. And I divide, maybe it's a little problematic what I say, but I divide the people in the world, wherever they are, in two categories. One who is helping if somebody falls down the street, and the other half is walking by. And I try to encourage people to help. That's what my aim is. And maybe if film is I'm not a moral priest, you know, but film also can be a tool for people that they think about themselves and they think about their behavior. And in this sense, maybe this is a small way to show to show how life could be and how life is. And that's actually my my I should say my achievement.
Sure. So Michael, would you say that would be some sort of a takeaway or a reason why you made this film?
Yes, I think I'm always struggling for showing the human behavior on the screen, and not in the way, not in a destructive way, but in a way that that the people walk out and they maybe laugh and they maybe have a hope and they maybe are going out and they want to write a poem, or they want to go out and hear music, something which opens up and not closing down their minds.
Sure. And just one last question from my side. What closing remarks would you have? And what would you want to say to the viewers at home?
Well, I just watch the film and laugh as much you can.
Yeah.
And get and have a good feeling, and just see how people struggling in order to run after their luck, and how sometimes surrealistic and odd it is, but still it's our life, and we cannot escape.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. That brings us to the end of this fire chat, this Q&A with the Director of Side Effects and Risks, and Side Effects. My apologies. Thank you to the European Film Festival. Please do make sure that you go out to the website eurofilmfest.co.za and book your seat. And a big thank you to our lovely guest and the European Union, to South Africa, for bringing the best of European films to South Africa. Thank you so much, and cheers, everyone.